ready for another lesson?
Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's the 70s. And we're back. Back Row Banter, that is. Oh, yeah.
Wow, I was not expecting that.
I wasn't either, but then, we just had to go with it. Something happened
You
there.
didn't. Is that stock as well?
That is
stock?
That's what replaced the old stock.
I kind of like it better.
The old stock intro.
Yeah. Let's start rocking with that. Man.
You don't mind that? All right.
Yeah,
we'll
dude,
talk about it.
Wow, that made me feel some things. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Back Row Banter, your favorite casual movie talk podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Adam Schwartz, of course, and on today's episode, we'll be reviewing The Flash. 2023, of course. I keep searching The Flash in like IMDb, and the TV show comes up.
From like 93, right?
No, the like 2013 to like 2020.
Oh, yeah.
That one.
Oh, I forgot.
The CW
I forgot
show.
that was a show.
Apparently,
Where did that
it's
air
like
on?
the
Is that
best
like
CW DC show.
Well,
it's very good.
Bit
Apparently,
of sizzle. Tyler and I watched, I think, the first season and a half or so.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, might bring it up later. We'll talk about it.
Okay.
Is that in real time or is that recent?
No, it was after the fact. Once we could actually binge it.
Yeah, that was definitely, it was on Netflix for a bit, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That show just seems so dense at this point. I think there's like 8 seasons. And those.
Then, sorry, go ahead if you're going to keep going.
Oh yeah, no, I was just gonna say that's just a lot of TV.
It is a lot of show.
Yeah.
And it like intertwines with like the Green Arrow and shit like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's crossovers and whatnot.
Yeah. And what is that? League of Legends or whatever it is? Is that a game?
That's
League
a
of
game.
Legends is a game. You're thinking of
Something Legends.
League of Shadows.
Nope, Legends
of Tomorrow?
Yes.
Got it.
Legends of
see?
the Fall.
I'll get there, you know?
Just give them some time.
And then, yeah, what I was gonna say about the Flash, one of my personal favorite renditions of him is from Justice League, or like the newer ones though. Young
Zack
Justice,
Snyder?
when those started.
Oh, sure. That's Kid Flash though? No, what's
There is
Young
there's
Flash?
Kid Flash. There is Flash in there, and then there's also Impulse.
Impulse? That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, Young Justice. That was a great show.
Yeah, Young Justice is fucking dope. If you want a solid fucking piece of DC material to just fucking lose your mind on, go watch Young Justice.
Agreed.
Noted. Well, joining
I
me.
think I've actually seen some of that. There's a handful of seasons of that though, right? And that's got to be what, like 2017, 2018?
I think it might be earlier than that.
Yeah, that might have been when it came back though, because it did come back on
I
Netflix.
feel like that's when I caught some of that.
Yeah. It was kind of like after you grew up on like the Batman the animated series, like Young Justice was a nice little like afterthought too. After you did Batman animated series, Batman Beyond, you could like move into Young Justice too.
Yeah, it looks like you can get it on Max or Amazon Prime.
Your big recommend.
Okay.
Noted. Well, joining me today,
Throw
of
that
course,
on in the background then.
is not so fast Nathaniel Ginger.
What up, folks? I'm not so fast.
Not so
Nathaniel.
fast.
I'm not so
Yikes.
fast. It's okay. You know, it happens.
You're a pitcher, you know.
It's true.
Fast with the arm.
Actually, this is a real fact. I grew like very quickly in like 6th, 7th grade, like over one summer.
yeah.
I grew like 4 or 5 inches.
Same here. Yeah.
And all of my coaches expected me to be real fast when I came back, but I was just real uncoordinated.
Yeah.
So
that'll happen.
I lost all sprinting speed around that time, but I was better at distance. So
Okay.
it all worked out in the end,
Yeah.
anyways.
Yeah. There you have it. Yeah, I was never too fast myself. My dad made fun of me sometimes.
Not a fast guy.
Yeah.
I was quick.
Were
You would I expect you would be.
You know
Blake,
what?
I
Yeah,
I had
also
speed.
Blake,
well,
I also
Blake we know
assume
is fast.
is
Wide
yeah.
receiver at D1 college.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would expect Blake to be somewhat quick.
comes to work one day. Oh yeah, how was your weekend? Cool, man. I did a workout with the Bears. Well, what? Can we circle back to that real quick? You nonchalantly threw that at me.
Yeah, that was the last time I touched a football, fellas.
Really?
Yeah, man.
I mean, if you're
Hard
gonna
to
end
play
on one,
recreationally. It's like, you know what I mean?
if you're gonna end on one, that's a decent one to kind of end
it
on,
is.
I suppose.
Hey, I hear you.
Yeah.
As
Hey,
well,
we
too.
always say you either, you know what I mean, you die a hero, you live long enough to become a villain. I went out. I was like, you know what? I'm done.
Yeah.
That's poetic.
It is
I think in
poetic.
some ways.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for you to be able to tie that saying into every single episode.
I think that's 3 weeks in a row. I think we're
You know
running
what?
3 weeks long.
I'm gonna. That's the goal moving forward.
You gotta keep
That's gonna be your
going.
new sign off at the end of the
Yes,
podcast.
New pod lore. Boy,
Is-
ties in.
yeah. Also joining us today.
His
Retired.
His pod dog. Pod dog is tired.
Oh, Ellie.
Yeah.
She's wiped, man.
Pod dog. Pod dog.
Pod
beat.
dog on the ground.
It's a really long name for me.
Yeah. Retired Tyler Vidals.
Retired.
Yeah. Long hair, disheveled, just cooking up. What was he cooking? Tacos?
Pasta.
Pasta, spaghetti.
Pasta.
Yeah. It's pasta.
Sketty.
Sketty, yeah. Retired Tyler Vidals.
I
Will
can't
you,
wait to
will
be
you ever
retired.
retire? You're El Trabajo. You can't retire.
Maybe it's like
No.
retired as in like he got new tires.
Yes, retired.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler Vidals on that. What is
We
it?
should start that instead of changing. Like when somebody says, "Hey, I got my tires changed." We
Like,
just,
bro, I got
Hey, man.
retired.
I got retired.
What'd you do this weekend? I got retired.
I like that. That's fun. And rounding up the squadron, of course, is big body double BlakeHolder.
Yo.
Did you say body double?
Yeah, I did. Bit of a spoiler, maybe. I don't know.
Bit of sizzle.
Bit of sizzle.
Tad bit.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But how are you and your body double doing, Blake?
We're all right, man. Me and Blake squared. We're kicking.
Blake too.
All right, so if you had a twin, right, would you
I've
you
dropped
gotta
this.
at least one day do the class switch, right? The schedule switch and try
Oh,
and,
for sure.
and try and
Do
go
you
in
think
for each
people
other.
actually do that though?
I knew a pair of twins that definitely
Yeah, oh,
did.
yeah.
Oh, I'm sure that happens.
Yeah, I mean you got to, right? Like at least
100%.
once
I agree. You at least have to try it once.
just to see if you can.
It's an ability that very few people have, and
Right.
you need to see what the limits are
Right,
with those
Right.
boundaries.
That's like it's like being
No.
a 7-footer and not playing basketball.
Mm.
Like it's like
Yeah.
you're really just pissing off.
His
God
name's
at that
Nikola
point.
Jokic, and he doesn't want to play basketball.
Yeah.
He just wants to
Do you-
race his horses.
Do you think you can get that past your parents?
yeah.
Some
If you're
yes,
close,
yeah.
if you're close, 100%.
Yeah. Especially at a younger age too. It's probably much easier.
Babies,
You know what I mean?
Babies. I'm fairly certain there's babies out there that have switched names that they just never knew.
That's
I'm sure there's
Oh,
people
yeah,
that like have gotten just completely mixed up at birth.
Yeah, like yeah,
Like they just
100%.
take a different baby home.
that's the plot to an episode of Sweet Life and Zach and Cody. They don't know.
Oh, who's the
yeah,
actual Zach and Cody?
Exactly. They don't know who's who. So then they decide, oh wait, I'm gonna be a nerd and you can be a jock for once. So that's the whole episode, is that they switch personalities.
I didn't realize that they actually had distinct personalities.
Yeah, one of them's like a super smart nerd, and the other one's like just kind of like a skater jock guy.
Oh, well, this is past my time, so I'm
Mm. What are
enjoying
their real
this
names?
window.
Dylan and Cole Sprouse.
That's
Are they
weird.
like have they followed where one's a douche and one's a decent?
No, I think they're both doing well. I think Cole was on, what was that show? Riverdale?
Yeah, I knew one of them
Yeah,
was
he's
like
still
acting
acting.
still.
Yeah.
I think the other one moved like did he go crew? Like he moved behind the camera?
Maybe. I don't know.
Mm.
But I know
Maybe
one
I'm just wishful thinking.
of them's still kicking around. Good shows, Sweet Life with Zach and Cody.
Mm.
Gotta love it.
Yeah, for sure.
This
is the
sweet life.
Good theme song too. Oh,
This
yeah.
is one I straight up missed out on.
Yeah,
This
that was
never,
when Disney Plus launched. That was the first show I put on.
really.
Yeah, I was
Really?
like, oh my god, I have access to all of these, because back in the day, I mean, you guys could
Right.
sympathize with this more than I.
100%, Yeah.
You know, you didn't get your reruns. You didn't have VOD for all the episodes every season. You know, so you know you were looking out to see when the reruns are playing, and hopefully it's an episode you haven't seen before, like that kind of thing. And then to have access to every single episode. I mean, I was watching. I was like, I don't know if I've ever seen this one because I just never caught it. And yeah, you remember like movie marathons? Like you'd have all the Harry Potters go in like a day. Like channels would just do that.
It was always ABC.
Yeah. ABC would do those, and around Christmas time you have those as well. Now it's just like I'll marathon whatever I want, whenever I want. How times have changed. Those kids will never understand.
Fuck them kids.
How the turns have tabled.
Indeed. Well, let's turn on over to our main review segment here, folks. Nathaniel,
Ooh.
if the listener here is new, or maybe they've just forgotten, can you give them a rundown of how the review segment works?
What up, folks? If you're new, or maybe you've just forgotten, our review segment is broken down into 2 sections. There is the non-spoiler section, and then there's the spoiler section. It's pretty self-explanatory. In the non-spoiler section, we'll go over the movie itself, who's in it, who wrote it, who directed it, all that good stuff. We'll go over the IMDb page. We'll go around the quadrant. Have to decide if we would recommend this movie. There is no nuance on the internet, which, if you were paying attention to film Twitter and i.e. criticism Twitter, I guess, this weekend, people were talking about how there is no longer any nuance on the internet, and that film criticism has just become yes or no kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, we've been talking about this for a while.
We've been, yes.
That's kind
we
of
were
one of
ahead
our
the
bits.
curve. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That
Which
pisses me off.
yeah, we've all openly stolen from Weekly
Yeah, we've been on this
Planet.
train since 2020, people.
Yeah, and before that, I think the podcast we stole it from was 2013.
Yeah, but we don't talk
14.
about them. We don't, whatever.
Anyways, it's got to be a yes or no. Would we recommend this movie? There is no nuance on the internet. From then on, it'll be spoiler time. We'll go into the spoiler section. Any and all spoiler plot points or twists, we'll wait to tell you about until then. And we'll go into deeper on the movie ourselves and our thoughts and all that good stuff. So, yeah. Adam, tell me about The Flash.
I would love to. This is a new movie, of course, released in the year 2023. It was supposed to be released in God knows what year. There's probably several years this had a
I think
release date.
one of the podcasts I listened to charted it back to it was originally in like 93. Like it
The
is
first ever The Flash movie.
It was arguable that this movie has been in development for 30 years now. At least a good 20. Definitely chartable
Can you
back
say
to
that
30.
though? Because that's got to be scrapped and then basically restarted multiple times. Just because there's
no.
flat,
Like genuinely
like this project.
The project itself, yeah. The
That can't
project
be real,
itself,
dude.
the project itself goes back to at least 20. The idea of selling the Flash for movie rights is like 93.
Okay, so just the movie. Okay, that kind of thing.
But
I
like
mean,
the
I guess
this,
you could tie that into this.
This Flash movie has genuinely been in development since like 2003, though.
Okay, that much I will believe. That being said, it's a new movie, rated PG-13, and a runtime of 2 hours and 24 minutes with an IMDb rating of 7.3 out of 10. Directed by Andy Muschietti, who did It Chapter 1 and 2, and will be working on Attack on Titan. Upcoming director of Attack on Titan. I don't know if that's live action.
I would hope so.
I would think so. I would assume so. But that's in development, it seems.
And also made Mama.
Mama, yes, sorry.
Mama.
That's the other one I forgot to mention, Mama. Written by Christina Hodson. Let me see. I haven't checked her IMDb. Birds of Prey and Bumblebee.
Okay.
So, solid there, I would say. The cast includes, there's a lot of people here, fellas. There's a lot of people. We'll go Sasha Kale. Has anyone heard this pronunciation?
I heard on another podcast today it was Calais.
Calais, okay.
I think, yeah.
Ezra Miller, wow.
Ezra Miller.
Ezra Miller. Ben Affleck, Michael Keaton. Who else are we going here?
Ron Livingston plays Pops.
Ron Livingston, yes. What's the mom's name?
Maribel Verdue.
Who we've seen on pod before.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Bit of sizzle. We'll talk about that in a bit.
Oh, you don't want to talk about it more now?
No, I'll talk about it in a bit.
Okay, we'll wait on her. But I saw her. I was like, I know. her.
Yeah.
But she's making her return to the Entropy list. Jeremy Irons, and he's Alfred again. There's a bunch of people. I think we got the main cast though. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
I think we'll stick that out there.
Michael Shannon.
Michael Shannon, yeah, of course.
Sure.
yeah, I think I'll probably just leave that there because there's a lot of people. But that's, I think, the main cast. And I think we got everyone who's important here. The IMDb summary reads as follows. Barry Allen uses his super speed to change the past, but his attempt to save his family creates a world without superheroes, forcing him to race for his life in order to save the future. That was pretty bad.
It's not good, is it?
That was not a good summary.
No, I don't.
And I don't
like
even
that.
think that's like accurate to the plot fully. General gist is sure all right, but yeah, really not all that accurate. To fill in the gaps here.
It's Flashpoint.
It's Flashpoint, yeah. If you're familiar with that plot line or story for the Flash character, but essentially turns out the Flash faster than the speed of light, and he can go back in time.
Mm-hmm.
Fun fact.
He can.
And so obviously when you do that, everyone's seen Back to the Future. You can't do that without things going wrong. So things go wrong, and this is him dealing with that, basically. It's the first ever solo Flash film, as we were kind of saying, I'm assuming, yeah. Been in development for a while. First appearance of the Flash since Justice League, yeah? Is he in anything else between now and then? He's not an Aquaman. Actually, he might be in the Aquaman.
He might have cameoed in a Black Adam.
Did he cameo in Black Adam? I don't remember. Maybe.
Or a Shazam.
DC's got like 3 heroes with a lightning bolt on their chest.
That's a good point.
Someone needs. That's not talked about enough. You know. What are they doing over there?
It's iconic.
Anyway, this movie is somewhat controversial, somewhat debated.
Yeah.
Ezra Miller, not a good person.
Allegedly.
Not so allegedly.
Yeah. I mean there's video
depends-
evidence of them choking a woman.
You could say that, yes. So there's that. There's the development behind it. There's the fact that James Gunn is taking over at DC and how much DCEU stuff from the past
Will be there.
10 years will be there. So there's a lot around this movie that makes it feel kind of weird and out of place, and like what's the point almost, and like how did this actually go all the way through, and I don't know, there's a lot around it. But that being said, what are our thoughts here on the film itself?
How bizarre? How bizarre. Like, this movie's weird as fuck.
Yeah. Nah.
And I would argue the weirdest bits about it are the most interesting bits about it.
There are
in a lot of ways. Like, you take the director from It, who I think has proven has sort of outsider, bizarro sensibilities at this point in terms of just like what he finds funny or like strange and weird. And you shove it into like a mainstream American superhero movie. And I think it was always destined to be strange. But I think the fact that it got this, that ended up being this movie, just adds an extra dose of just weirdness about this movie overall.
Okay. Is there anything specifically you'd like to reference with that that's non-spoilery? Or you want to wait for spoilers to maybe elaborate?
Is there any bit I can talk about in there that's non-spoilery? Yeah, I would just say some of the tone.
Okay.
I would think. I think there's a lot of this movie where, and I felt this way about It Chapter 2, maybe not so much It Chapter 1, but there's like a lot of bits in this movie that play physically comedy-wise. Maybe more so than like, joke wise or anything like that.
Okay. Are you talking? I don't know. Is there anything? Are you talking about like how he runs? Are you talking about CGI? Or
No,
are you talking about
no. None of that specifically.
design.
I'm talking about like when he gets moved and he's not in the Speed Force.
Oh, okay.
Or like
Exactly. Okay, I see.
his first main big action sequence with the hospital. Like that, the decision on who is saved in that scene and like why they're in danger to begin with is just very, like, from a visual standpoint, stacks up and is hilarious. But if you think about it in like casual American context is just like, what the fuck? Who thinks of that kind of thing? Like that's what I mean in that sense.
I
so, yeah, I don't think I'm as negative on this as I was anticipating, but at the same time, oof.
I'm pretty positive. I liked this movie. I had a good time. It was way better than I expected. Again, expectations determine enjoyment. I've ranted about that before.
Yep.
And I had relatively low expectations, but also those were raised slightly by the fact that I've heard good things about it so far. As Nathaniel mentioned before, I think people are either it's the worst thing or the best thing ever, and people kept saying this was the best thing ever, and it's certainly not. So don't listen to those. It's not by any means like incredible must-see movie, but it's solid. Like there's a lot of issues with it. No movie's perfect, and this is far from it. But I had a good time with it. I thought it was engaging. Like 2 hours and 24 minutes. You start to feel it a little bit, but honestly, like I was pretty engaged the whole time. There wasn't a lot of times where I felt like this movie was very slow, or I felt like we were, wasting time or something like that. And it kept me engaged, and I had fun. And there was certainly issues, but overall, I was very pleased. And so I'm a recommend, and I don't know if I expected to say that coming into this week. But yeah, I'll give more full thoughts in spoilers, but I liked it.
Yeah, I'll kind of follow up here briefly. It was in short, yes, it's better than I thought it would be. Kind of agreeing with Adam, but I think that's just the byproduct of now watching a DC film. You're walking in with pretty shitty expectations. So that may not say a ton in the grand scheme of things. Better than expected, not great. There are some things to kind of discuss in here in terms of things I don't like. For starters, just to kind of hound in on that, some of the CGI looks like really bad.
CGI is
that was
awful.
kind of mine. What's up, bro?
There's some terrible CGI in this film.
Yeah.
Some of
And
it,
it's like,
as Nathaniel mentioned,
it almost looks on purpose. Like it's that bad.
Correct.
You know what I mean? It almost looks like it's
and I think
intentional,
Nathaniel said the time traveling stuff is supposed to kind of look like that.
No, that's what Muschietti said.
Oh, okay,
when he came out this week, and that everyone was kind of talking about it, he kind of has come out and defended it, I think.
Which, like, I understand that did feel intentional. That part did feel intentional.
Yeah, it looks so bad.
And like, I think there's definitely going to be a mix of, oh yeah, let's say it's this, and like maybe I want to lean into it a little bit, but also it's probably unrealistic to get that all rendered well in time and under budget. And even outside of just if you want to isolate that and say sure that was intentional, besides those sequences, there's a lot of problems with the CGI besides that.
Yeah,
sure.
This
doesn't look good.
This movie for me almost exists outside of like a movie where I can take it like seriously as like something released, just because I do know the backstory on it and like how long it's been in development. And like this movie was announced when I kind of started paying attention to movie development process and that kind of thing. And the fact that it's just taken this long, it's like it's a white whale in some ways getting the Flash movie out. So like the fact that, to me, looking at it, as soon as its success was official and they announced Andy Muschietti to come and finish this movie, it was like, in my mind, it kind of immediately went to like, oh, he's the guy, he's the fixer. He's going to go in there and he's just going to get this done and get a project for them that is going to be something that they can finally release and get this off the books. And I think the final product is representative of that, but is also like impressive in the fact that he had to land this fucking plane, and he kind of did it with like his hands tied behind his back and blindfolded as well too. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I do want to give him a lot of leeway on that. I don't think that's like one person's fault or choice or anything. I think more than anything, it's studio side. The fact that this went through so much turmoil and you don't have the budget or the time or allocate enough development to the CGI. That's a lot of studio side. So I would never put this on the director, and at least he got it out in the somewhat acceptable, a pretty acceptable product. I mean, I don't think the CGI, as bad as it is, it's not like it's ruining the movie for me.
Yeah. But yeah, that was kind of a small gripe. Like I said, overall better than expected, but didn't have the highest level of expectations just with it being a DC film. I'll kind of review some of my thoughts once we get past spoilers, or once we get into spoilers, I should say. So that's my 2 cents. Ezra Miller is still just kind of strange. It's mind-blowing this film was actually
Yeah.
in hindsight, you know what I mean?
That is definitely that's
for
something
sure,
for
man.
me that's pretty game breaking every time I look at the screen, where I'm just like, oof.
Yeah.
I cannot.
Anytime I'm watching the screen and seeing Ezra Miller,
Right.
it's just one of those things. Like,
I
they've really released this, but it's one of those things like we keep harping on, where there was so much cash involved behind this thing. It was like, we gotta fucking cut our ends somewhere.
I
Like,
can't.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't.
yeah.
I'm 100% in agreement with you. Whenever I see it, I'm just like, I cannot believe that this thing is out there. It doesn't feel right that it's out there. It feels weird in some ways.
Yeah.
And like,
Let alone with where we stand in like 2023 of like how like the world's trying to be more progressive.
oh yeah,
And
and
stuff like that.
I mean,
you know
like,
what I mean? It's mind blowing. I could almost believe you in fucking 06. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? This person's a scumbag, but fuck it, we'll release the movie.
And there's
it's
like
mind blowing that happened today.
There's jokes that are about like drugging people in this as well too, that they're saying as well too,
Yeah.
that it's just like, fuck, man, like, I don't know.
Maybe cut that one.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I'll talk about this more in spoilers too, but like, I wonder how much of this movie, the cynical side of me wonders how much of this movie is also just like the studio being like, we know this is going to be dog shit. We know this is going to be like controversial. We know this is going to be a talking point. How far can we press the issue? Like, what are people's limits with this kind of thing as well too? And it's kind of like a test phase with that too, to which I'll follow up this point once we go into spoilers as well too. But like, man, that's part of it where I'm like, this movie's so weird. It's so weird. It's such a strange film. Tyler, do you have any
I was
thoughts?
just about to say, Ty, where are you at?
I'm a not recommend, and we can talk quite a bit more in spoilers, but yeah, things are out of place here, and I really tried to open up the idea of Ezra Miller, because like at the end of the day, it's gonna happen, like it's already here, so I don't really like, I gotta go see it. And so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try and go in like as non-biased as possible.
Sure.
And there were actually some times where he actually surprised me, and then the rest of the time I was just kind of like, there are so many better people for this character. Regardless of Ezra Miller did anything or didn't do anything, he could completely be out of the media for me and still be an okay person in my book. And there are still better people for this part. And it just sucks that we have to deal with this before we probably get that somewhere down the line, hopefully. But yeah, things in the story are weird, not a place. It's shot really weird. We'll talk about the CGI, I'm sure, but it was not good. And yeah, so I'm gonna not recommend.
That's valid.
Have we gone around done the
We've gone around the horn. Is that the term you're looking for?
a little bit?
Yeah.
I'm a not recommend.
I'm a recommend.
Yeah, I don't even think I said that. I'll probably go not recommend.
Yeah.
Wow, I was hoping I wouldn't be alone. But I'm not like shocked. But I thought I'd
too
have,
many good
I thought
superhero
I'd have
films out
at
here,
least
man.
One ally.
Just fucking go watch Across the fucking Spider-Verse, fellas.
I'm with
And ladies.
I'm with
and
you
everyone
there,
else involved.
Blake. Yeah, I
You
mean,
know what I
this
mean?
one
Same runtime, kind of the same premise.
a
where
lot
you
of
got, like,
lot of
worlds
similar
colliding and
DNA.
shit.
Yeah.
For sure, man.
And
Go watch Across the Spider-Verse.
Spider-Verse is just so much better. It's not
Without a
even in
doubt.
the same league realistically.
No, I'm putting this at number 1.
Listen, Adam, you remember like 2 weeks ago when you fought tooth and nail to get across the Spider-Verse at number 10? Don't press your luck, bro.
Well, that being said, let's head on into spoilers. We are 3 not recommends and 1 recommend. So go ahead, do with that information what you will. If you've not seen The Flash already, go ahead, check that episode description where you can see the timestamp you can jump to where you'll be taken to our ranking of the movie up upon our Entropy list. Spoiler time, Nathaniel.
It's about how subtle this movie is.
All right. Tell me how you really feel.
No. I mean, subtlety is overrated anyways. Just like I think like CGI and like good CGI can be overrated if the story you're telling is good and connects with people. And to this movie's credit, I think when it tries to be emotional, it does a pretty good job.
There are some good scenes.
I don't think I've been as shocked in a superhero movie before as I was when I was just watching it. I just went, is that Maribel fucking Verdú in this movie? Like, is she playing his mom right now? What the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
And you know what? It almost got me.
It.
It almost got me 100% on board with this movie. I was like, "Holy shit! They've gone down this road. This is amazing.
They've done it."
But I can't believe that I didn't hear about this ahead of time. And then there's 2 Ezra Millers on screen.
Are there? Are they both Ezra Miller? Because one does not look like Ezra Miller half the time.
There's very clearly that they've done a lot of body double work
Yeah,
and facial swapping.
Which, like, I'll give them, the pass a little bit. I just feel like it could have been done better. There's ways to hide it. There's a lot better ways to handle that. And I just feel like sometimes they were just like, okay, you guys are both just going to be on screen. We're not going to mask. We're not going to, do whatever to at least try. It was just, we're just going to put 2 people who look somewhat alike.
It felt like if this movie kind of felt like there was some sort of CGI virus that had broken out on set that would occasionally just affect different people on the on set at different times as well
exactly
too.
What you're talking
where
about.
like it would just all of a sudden your face would get the like weird uncanny valley motion for some reason.
You go all doughy.
Yeah, doughy and
doughy.
dead-eyed.
Yeah. There's one cut to Michael Keaton where I was like, oh, that doesn't sound right. Oh, wait, it doesn't look right either.
Yeah.
And then he cuts back.
That
and I'm
happened
like,
to
oh, that
me-
was certainly CGI Michael Keaton.
That happened to me several times with Ezra Miller. But yeah.
There's when they're right in the back of the bat flying thing.
Sure.
I was like, that's all CGI. Why are you doing that? Like, why?
Yeah, as an animated movie, this one is really representative of some pretty
Another similarity with Across the Spider-Verse.
significant steps. Yeah. Man, it takes some swings though.
It does. All right. Supergirl, awesome. Loved how she was used. Loved that reveal. Loved the actress. Loved how they handled the character. I thought it was great. She was a highlight for me. I just want to get that out of the way. I don't know how you guys felt. The actress has said she would love to continue to play Supergirl, and she's talked to the studio about it. I'm on board. I'd love to get some more with her. I thought she was great. I love how they kind of handled her character in relations to Kal-El. But yeah, I loved all that. I thought that was really, really good. Definitely a highlight for the movie for me. I don't know how you guys felt about her.
I thought she was good.
Yeah.
I thought she could have been used more.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed in that, but hopefully we get more out of her later.
Tyler?
I was just gonna say, yeah, it's kind of a toss up for her because I knew the reveal was coming. I've seen versions of this through like comic books and TV shows, not like through spoilers or anything like that. But yeah, I feel like she could have been. She would have been better if we could have gotten more of her. I think with what she's kind of given and clearly what she's given to work with, I'm sure she's capable of much more. I wouldn't mind seeing like a solo movie with her.
Yeah, I'd love that. I agree. Maybe they could have gotten her in the movie a little bit earlier, but still fun. Keaton. I see. That's the thing is, I think Nathaniel, you mentioned this last week.
I think Blake's talking, but I think he's muted.
I was gonna say, I thought.
Yeah, my bad, fellas.
No,
I
you're
didn't
good.
realize I was muted. But to your point, Adam, the first thing I said was, how do you guys feel about Michael Keaton and General Zod? Because I've been on here a few times saying anytime I've rewatched Man of Steel, it actually grows on me a ton. That may actually be my favorite DC film, outside of like the Dark Knights and shit like that.
Right.
Of course. Let's be realistic here. But I think he was great in that film, and I do think the performance is nowhere near as spectacular in this as it was in Man of Steel. But
He's also not
how do you
given a
all feel
lot.
about that? Oh,
Yeah, I think that's just more. He's not given a lot, really. He
For sure.
Since we already know his character, he doesn't really need a lot either. I think how he was used was fine. But I do like Michael Shannon, and I think in Man of Steel he was great. But here he's just like the fact that we already know where his character is supposed to be from, and see him in Man of Steel. I don't think they needed to switch too much up there with him. So. Yeah, I wish he could have been utilized more, but I don't think he necessarily needed to be.
yeah.
Keaton, though, where we fall on him, I still don't really know how to feel.
He's phoning it in until he's not.
Mm.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
when he decides to kind of, like, give the actual, like, I'm Bruce Wayne, I'm Batman moments, he's definitely there, and he's got the kind of gravitas. But when he's just kind of sitting around, it's definitely like he's just there for a paycheck, which is just weird when you've seen Birdman, which came out in 2013, and it's just like, yeah, you really are. You've just become this character now, aren't you?
A little
Like.
bit.
Yeah, Michael Keaton is slowly becoming one of those people that just plays Michael Keaton
Yeah,
in every
yeah.
single role that he is in.
Don't get me wrong, I love it though. Like
I
I could
love
always
him. I
I
think
could
he's
always
great,
use more
but-
Michael Keaton out there. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just nobody really thinks of him as like one of those characters. Look, The Rock is like that character. Like The Rock just plays The Rock, and The Rock is huge right now. Michael Keaton's probably an actor's name that you could throw out there, and somebody would be like, "Who?" And it's
Sure.
just funny that he's now got that reputation, as he's just he plays Michael Keaton in every single thing that he's in now. So,
Sure. Yeah, I think the thing for it that Nathaniel mentioned last week was like, who is really the audience for a Keaton Batman cameo or like callback or whatever you want to call it. It's relatively small compared to Spider-Man. I mean that I grew up with that, but then even if you want to go a generation after me, people grew up with Andrew Garfield too. So like you have two generations that arguably three if you count millennials with the Spider-Man, Sam Raimi's too. Because that was, I mean, I was the first one was for you guys, and then Spider-Man 3 was like when I was a kid. So that you span three generations in kind of four with Tom Holland in one movie versus Keaton. What year was that? Batman. That was the 80s.
89.
So 89. Who's really begging for him back?
Yep.
I don't know. It was cool. Like I get the callback, but like to Tyler's point, like I don't know, is who's really asking for it, and it didn't even seem like he was all that in on it. I don't know.
Oh, and I think that's where it gets into like again this movie's production history, where it
Sure.
quite literally has gone through like 7 different directors and like 4 different writing teams and all of that kind of stuff as well too.
Yeah.
So I think, and you have that all layered on top of it, where you have like Snyder who cast Ezra Miller, you have Rick Famuyiwa who cast Kiersey Clemens as Iris West. Back before he was doing Star Wars stuff now as well too,
Yeah.
and everything. And then you have these other things like Andy Muschietti pulling in. Some of the secondary characters and everything on top of that as well too. So I just think this movie's such a weird pastiche. It's such a like kind of Frankenstein together movie where it didn't ever need to be Flashpoint. It just needed to be a Flash movie. But now that we're in the age of the multiverse and we're in the age of splitting timelines, we're in the age of cameos and references.
Right. Requels.
It's just it's what it became.
Sure. Yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't they just do Flashpoint for the TV show as like the finale?
I believe so, yeah.
So like that feels
But it's like name another Flash story.
true. That's the other thing too. Is like, what else do you know?
Right. So, and not saying like it could be done. 100%. There is
It definitely
there's great Flash stories out there. There's great speedster stories out there. If we're in the era of IP, though, Flashpoint is the big name kind of thing for Flash. And would it be better if they just did a grounded Flash movie? Probably, but were they ever going to? That's not really how DC rolls. I don't feel like.
Yeah. Man, I was just about to say something. I totally forgot.
Sorry.
No,
I talked over you.
Oh no, you did not. No, it was a tangential thought. Yeah, I don't know. I liked it though. I'm trying to think of other good parts about it. They definitely got me almost with the mom scene at the end. That was a good one with the grocery store stuff. But there's also a lot with the time travel that I felt like didn't line up or wasn't explained too well. Where they keep going back but like wouldn't there just be so say for like in the climax example, or like using the climax as an example, where they are running back to a few minutes backwards to try and save Supergirl and Batman, following the rules of the movie itself, where the original Barry Allen we know goes back and meets Barry Allen who grew up with a mom. Those two together, he goes back and he enters a timeline where there's another him. When they're going back, shouldn't there then be like two more Flashes if they go back again? And then once they go back again, shouldn't there be like 8? Like, shouldn't it double every time? Did I miss something there? Is it because like they didn't I don't know. I feel based on the rules of the universe and how they explain them, I feel like that's how it should have worked. Am I wrong?
No, I think I could agree to that, and I think it crossed my mind at one point.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just one of those things that you just have to deal with it.
Of
You're
course.
not supposed to think about that part.
Yeah, and because Spider-Man has those, like, how do I think it's like Electro never knew Spider-Man's real name, and that was the whole reason they were brought into this universe, whatever, that kind of thing. So, like, it's not, like, that game-breaking or anything, but there was other small stuff here and there. I was like, how does this actually work? And also, how did you guys feel about the visualization of the time travel itself? Beyond the CG, just how they visualized it, where it's, like, this kind of, like, bubble, and then there's other bubbles that, like, were they supposed to be other multiverses that I don't know. It was weird because you could change the timeline in the multiverse by going backwards, but then there's other separate multiverses and timelines, it seemed like. I don't know, the visualization of it. I think in concept it's cool, but when in practicality, when he uses like the spaghetti strings and everything, in theory, like, all of those timelines and universes should be connected in some way. But the fact that they had them separate was kind of weird to me, and I couldn't really track how they were visualizing that. I thought that was kind of odd.
Yeah, I will agree. I think the concept was really cool, and I think it could have really explained I think this movie does a pretty decent job of explaining the multiverse over some other movies, especially for potentially a first-time watcher of a multiverse movie. But then there's really confusing things like the points that we've talked about, and it just doesn't quite make sense or bode well for the movie in general. But I do like the overall concept that that he was kind of going for kind of perceiving time.
Yeah, I thought it was unique too. Like, you don't really see anything like that, and of course that's a unique way of like presenting time travel, the fact that the character can run faster than the speed of light. Like, that's kind of cool. So the way that they kind of tie those things together, like he's running backwards, but then like as he's running, the time will like collapse in. I don't know. It was a cool visualization in like practically, but then when you kind of relate it to how they explain the timelines, I just wasn't seeing how those two connected.
I get that.
Yeah. But I do think the way they explained how the timelines work, where he goes, oh, well, once you change this point, you change future and past. I thought that was interesting and unique because I don't feel like we see that a lot, too, to explain why Batman's different. But they also never explain at the end. Did he, like in the post-credit scene, did he get back to his original one? And if so, how?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay.
But, like, I also don't know that it matters.
It doesn't, because I hope they discontinue this Flash.
And that's, like, I think, weirdly, where this movie almost exists outside kind of any continuity in some ways as well, too, where it is just so up in the air that people just don't know.
Who knows? I hope they keep Jason Momoa, and I wish they would keep Henry Cavill, but it doesn't seem like they will. And Gal Gadot.
Do you think that's why they just kind of like went some points where they just don't give a fuck because they knew that this was just not going to be anything anyways? Like they knew that they were just going to smush this out.
That was one thing I wondered when I was watching the hospital scene. Where all of the babies were falling out and like the dog was falling out as well too. Yeah. And like everyone, I'd seen a couple different people complaining about it online and be like, blah, 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 you know, this is that. And then I was thinking, I thought to myself, I was like, is that a scene that you want to be 100% realistic? Like if you're going to go out there and be like, hey, we got this idea. We're going to do these babies falling out of this thing and like have the Flash catch him as he's on his way down and everything like that. Is that a scene as a studio that you want to be 100% photorealistic of like babies just in extreme danger like that? Or are you okay with like everyone just never believing that any baby was really in danger at any point in there because of the CGI? As well too. Maybe that's a little bit woo-woo conspiracy theory kind of thing, but I don't think that's. It was just something where I was watching and I was just like, I love the choice to do this because it's so weird and it's so comic booky. Like I think that is one thing about this where like I think Andy Muschietti's sensibilities and directorial instincts lead themselves or lend themselves very easily to comic book adaptation. I'm not sure if American audiences always love it overall.
Right. Yeah. The other thing too, what was I going to say? So this is unrelated to that point. Is Barry Allen, is his origin story really that his mom or his dad got framed for killing his mom? Is that how?
Yes.
Okay, that's wild. I didn't know that. That's a wild plot line.
Yeah, there's a lot of different variations of that. One of which is this isn't like one, we're in spoilers, and two, this is like comic book stuff, so kiss my ass if you're upset. But there's like on the night that he gets his powers, he essentially sees Reverse Flash, and that's how he essentially gets his powers, by being in touch with the Speed Force. And Reverse Flash is actually the one that like killed his mom.
Okay.
And that's kind of like how all that plays out, because he starts messing with time, and so Reverse Flash goes back with him. So there's a lot of crazy stuff that could potentially happen with the Flash. Flash has got so many cool kind of branches that you can go off as far as like just individual stories for him. So I hope he doesn't go anywhere as a character.
Oh, I don't think he will.
I think we need to get somebody else in here, obviously. If you want, we can circle back to that. Actually, I was wondering if you guys had somebody in mind that you would pick for your Flash. If you had the chance to kind of repick it.
Ooh.
You don't have to do it now. We can do it later if you want, but I was just gonna kind of put that on the board.
Off the top of my head, man.
Just get the TV guy.
Yeah, I guess he was good. I don't know.
People
People seem to like them.
Let me
like him.
go ahead, Adam.
Oh, I was just gonna say people like him. Timothy Chalamet. That's my answer. Final answer. Lock it in.
Oh, not a bad pick. Not a bad pick.
I mean, if there was a superhero for him to play, I feel like the Flash could be a good one, but I don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah.
I also don't think he'd ever go that low.
Yeah. How did you all feel about, so just looking at some things and stuff that I've seen in like the Reddit community in regards to movies and film, it seems like a lot of people were on board with just how everyone was kind of senses of just how annoying Ezra Miller was in the beginning of this film. And they kind of had to tailor that down a little bit. But how did you guys feel about that in the beginning? Yeah, his character was just driving me fucking insane. But I think that may also be the byproduct of just not liking that individual in real life. You know what I mean? So it is kind of the sway or catch-22 on that. But did anybody else feel that way?
Oh, it's probably a mix between those two. But
Yeah, that was definitely the hardest thing for me, was obviously reconciling everything that's gone on outside the film with the film and the character in general. But yeah, I don't know. Overall, I felt okay.
yeah, I didn't think this was a terrible version of his Barry Allen. I think it was more annoying in Justice League, where I'm just like, will you just shut up?
It did
Just,
feel like
shut up.
it felt like they toned him down specifically
Yeah.
in this one.
Yeah. And I think they
I think
did.
it's because you're gonna get more of him.
Oh God. What I think is interesting that they did was it felt like they kind of transferred annoying Barry to Barry 2.
Yes, I do feel like that as well.
And I
too.
think that's a good intentional choice to make, is like, oh, you're not really supposed to like love this character. He is supposed to be kind of annoying and immature. Whereas like, and then that kind of in contrast makes the regular Barry, our Barry, he seems a little bit more mature. And then you kind of forget he's annoying too. So kind of, little cloak and dagger there. Last thing I want to touch on, we haven't brought this up yet. What do you guys think about the whole reveal of Reverse Flash being the guy in the portal, little bubble, and who knocks him out? Because I felt like that was very anticlimactic. They could have really, I think, built that up a little bit more, and they kind of like teased him. Because you have that first reveal, and you're kind of like, oh, who the hell is that? And then he has like a dream of him, and then the reveal, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it felt kind of expected for me. To the point where, like, when it happened, I wasn't like shocked or anything like that. But that might have been just because I was more familiar with the Flash itself and kind of him going back in the Speed Force and the Flashpoint storyline, maybe. But overall, yeah, I don't know. I thought it was a decent reveal. It wasn't crazy. I didn't love the effect of Reverse Flash.
The visual, like,
well,
effects.
like I liked his aesthetic to begin with. I didn't like it once it was revealed who he was.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought that was anticlimactic. I think that could have been way cooler.
I think this movie's pretty decent up until the third act, in which point it's just kind of gobbledygook.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It seems like it doesn't really know how to end itself, kind of, or it doesn't have a good resolution to give, which is a little disappointing. I was a little kind of let down in how everything was resolved overall, I would say.
I don't know if that, like, I want to believe that they would not portray Reverse Flash as whatever the fuck that was. Because he's like the most iconic villain for Flash.
I see.
And so I'm hoping somewhere in the universe there will be a theory, or somebody will actually come out and say it that is actually not Reverse Flash.
Well, I think you can just say it's a version of, right? Which is kind of what this movie is about, is that it could have been.
And it also could be, they could do a Kang thing where like, oh, there's multiple Reverse Flashes or something like that.
And again, this could be one of those things where, like, who cares? We don't give a fuck because we know we're going to throw this movie away anyways. So, like, just throw something in there. We don't need, like, a big reveal of, like, the actual Reverse Flash. Like, let's just put this monster thing in there and call it a day.
Kind of ties into my final point that I had talked about earlier, where I was talking about, I truly wonder if at some point they just went, listen, Ezra Miller is bad news, but we are going to release this movie anyway. We're just going to have to deal with it. Since we're going to be having negative press, can we sneak this CGI resurrection of dead actors in past there as well too, and see how that floats with people? because like the whole Superman 77 Christopher Reeves thing, and then George Reeves or Christopher Reeve, George Reeves,
Nicolas
however this is-
Cage.
yeah, Nicolas Cage, but like some of those people are dead.
Yeah.
And some of that's kind of fucked up when you think about it
Mhm.
in the long term, particularly like the older one, which I didn't realize this, but I guess there is a long history in that actor actually killed themselves because they were typecast as Superman. So like that's kind of a fucked up thing to
Holy
just
shit.
kind of
Oh, I
like
didn't know
bring
that.
Especially
around.
if you know that. Like, why the fuck would you even put that in there?
Right, exactly. Like that's, I guess it's just that's not great. Like,
Yeah.
Bad look.
And you guys know me. If somebody's passed, let them be passed.
Right.
Yeah, I
like-
don't want to start that precedent where like this is okay. Like I
Right,
I think we,
exactly.
I don't know what can be done to like prevent that from happening in the future, but Paul Walker, I don't want to see that. I don't.
Right, we're sure.
And that's gonna happen in Fast and Furious. We think at some point, almost to the point where like, oh, it's 100%. And I don't want that to be a thing that like studios think is okay. Like I'm personally not cool with it. I don't think the people of the family members of whoever deceased person
Well, and
it
it
is going to be cool with it.
It's just taking away jobs from other actors as
Sure,
well
yeah,
too.
yeah,
like
sure.
it's just it's weird. It's weird and gross, and don't do it, folks.
Oh, but
So,
Nathaniel, they're giving jobs to the CGI artists.
yeah, well, go work on a car commercial.
Oh God.
Fucking Lindsay Lohan in fucking Parent Trap CGI, her twins next to each other looks fucking better than this.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened. That was what?
Shout
96?
out Kara, my little sister. She's obsessed with that movie. Always has been.
Oh,
always
I
will be.
loved that movie. I watched it all the time as a kid.
I will say for my kind of final thoughts here, there were some funny parts where I thought Ezra Miller, I was like, hey, that's funny. I was like, you did well.
The Batman mask where he can't turn his head.
Yeah,
And-
dude, I was dying. I was dying.
And
He's
he-
fucking, his face like's all pulled over to the side. It
Yeah.
looks like a version of Leatherface. I was
That-
fucking dead.
That really got me.
Yeah.
So yeah, there were some redeemable parts through
It
the
was
comic relief, and then also through some of the more emotional pieces that you get from him basically telling himself that his mom is dead or having a hard time with that. Like those are really good emotional points for him. Yeah, but then the rest of the time that he was on screen that he wasn't doing those things, I was like, I really don't like you as the Flash. I don't like you as the Flash.
And it's also upsetting is like the good parts where I want to like Ezra Miller, I can't.
Yep.
It's like, oh, I can't like you. Like I know you're a bad person. So it was upsetting because I was like, oh damn, you know what? Like you're not doing a bad job here, but F you still, and so that was disappointing too.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Should we get it ranked?
Yeah, let's get it ranked.
Do you guys have a Flash in mind?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Did anybody come up with anything? I already know who I'd pick for mine.
Why don't you go?
I would go with Alan. Is it Ricketson?
From what?
He's the guy that played Jack Reacher over the TV
Oh,
show.
the giant man from
yeah, bro.
Fast 10. Okay.
From what?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, he like in versions of Flash, some of my favorite versions of Flash, he is still this like nimble, athletic looking dude, but he is fucking jacked. He's a fucking monster.
Sure.
And I think if you slim down Alan, he's got that big fucking strong looking jawline and chin. You put a fucking Flash suit on him, I bet he fucking looks insane.
I'm gonna
And
go.
I think he's a good actor.
I'm gonna go Caleb Landry Jones.
Who is that?
He's a guy. He played Banshee in X-Men First Class,
I see.
as well as
recognize
he's
this
in
guy.
3 Billboards as well. I'm basing that entirely off.
Right,
He's a
yeah.
redhead, and I like his acting. So
Is Barry Allen typically a redhead?
I feel like the Flash just is red, but maybe that's because he has a red suit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the Flash is red
character is
because of
usually,
his red suit.
Is usually blonde.
All right, well there you go. But in
Wally,
my version, he's a redhead. So There you go.
Kid Flash usually has orange hair
Oh, well, there you go. Mine's a.
in most of the comic books.
My answer is kind of hilarious given his acting history. Aaron Taylor Johnson,
Who's just.
Motherfucker. That's exactly what I was gonna say.
who is also just Quicksilver
I
in,
was
in
gonna
the
say,
MCU.
Yep.
And just got his new trailer released for Kraven the Hunter. Trailer time.
Is he Craven?
Yeah, he is Kraven. So he's in the Sony universe now. You can never get him.
Well, it means he's available for the
Sonyverse.
DC EU. So
Just complete the trifecta. Just
Yeah.
Get in all three.
has anyone triple dipped?
I think.
Ooh.
What's his face?
Tom Hardy isn't in DC. Oh well, I guess he's in Batman: Dark Knight Rises.
Who is it that has? It's
Is Tom Hardy in any Marvel movies?
Technically, kind of. Well known.
I guess Venom.
He's
Venom
he's
and
got the
Sony?
cameo.
Is that kind of what you're thinking?
No,
of?
he's got the cameo at the end of No Way Home. So yeah, Tom Hardy
Yeah.
is triple dipped.
What a guy.
Count it.
Count it.
count it.
Are you still trying to think of one?
There's a guy that played
I think I'm. Go ahead.
Callan Mulvey, who's like a background actor.
Oh, okay.
He plays like a henchman in like one of the Captain Americas, as well as Dawn of Justice, Batman v Superman. I want to say as well too.
Interesting.
I don't know if he's in any of the other Spider-Mans, but yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think. Hate to be that guy, but yeah, I think I'm rocking with Adam. That was
Yeah.
kind of my first thought as well. Yeah, we've already seen one. I just think he's a great actor.
Yeah,
Two,
is
he
good.
does have the comedic relief, which we saw in Bullet Train, right? Where he can kind of hit some of those notes for comedic relief. And he also kind of fits that age. Yeah, I guess kind of that age range of what I'm kind of pulling out of my ass right now. I mean, everybody else got to be north of like 40, which I just don't know if that's. I don't know if that's working.
He doesn't get up there
Yeah.
very often in any iteration of the Flash. So
Right.
speaking of Aaron Taylor, I watched Kick-Ass over the week. So
Ah,
Is
yeah.
he in that?
and he's already been a superhero. So
What about Alex Skarsgård? Not the right personality, not the right fit.
I don't think it'd
Oh.
be terrible.
That's a big guy though. That guy's fucking huge.
He's tall.
Oh
He's
yeah.
a
What
tall
about
man.
it? What if you're going with Andy? Go with his brother Bill.
Bill
Have him-
Skarsgård? That was the other one I was gonna throw out there too.
Yeah.
Bill's solid.
Ooh, who's the guy who played fucking Soldier Boy in The Boys? He'd be good too.
Oh, Jensen
Oh.
Ackles.
Yeah, good point.
He was supposed to at one point I want to say either Red or could have been Green Lantern, which I think he would have been a good He would have been a good Hal Jordan as well too.
I hope James Gunn does something with that character,
We'll have to see.
but I think the studio is scared to touch it after what happened last time. Still waiting on that sequel that they teased. Dude's got the fear ring. Whatever happened, I need to find out.
He moved into Sherlock Holmes.
Did he? Okay. That I think that's
Ryan will be a big advocate for this movie. Ryan, you're fucking wrong.
you're
Justin,
wrong,
you'll
Ryan.
probably be on the fence or, kind of
don't play devil's advocate.
be
Justin.
biased towards Foley's opinion. So you're wrong too.
Don't bandwagon his opinion.
And then Rob, you don't listen to our podcast because you're an asshole, but we love you. And you do have quite a few shout outs for someone who doesn't listen to the podcast. But here's another one. You'll probably vote for this movie as well because you're a DC nerd and you're fucking wrong.
God,
So-
Rob, what a scumbag, And he'll never hear me say it.
Hi,
You
Rob.
won't-
Bye, Rob. Let's get out of here. Welcome back, listeners who skipped over the spoiler segment of the podcast. We're going to go ahead and throw the flash up upon our Entropy list, our big list of all the movies we reviewed compared to one another. It's essentially how we rate the movies. If you want to see the Entropy list for yourself, you can do so by checking that episode description. The Flash.
La Flash.
The Flush.
The Flash. I have a spot.
Spot, like from Across the Spider-Verse? Jason Schwartzman.
No, not that spot.
The movie 150, by the way, fellas.
Ah, yes, 150 on the Entropy list.
Oh,
Movie 150.
We'll have to do a double up at some point to even that out.
yeah, we do. I am gonna go 104. Puts me above Ghostbusters Afterlife, below Men.
104. You said above Ghostbusters Afterlife and below Men.
Mm-hmm.
I see.
Oh man,
That's not a bad spot.
not bad. Out of curiosity, to pick your brain on that ranking,
Of course.
you like it over Army of the Dead?
Yeah, I think it's got enough for me to go over Army of the Dead. I also find Andy Machete being ranked above Zack Snyder funny.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So yeah, I think it's better than Ma Rainey's. I think it's better than Lightyear. I think it's probably better than like Bodies, and Candyman.
I think that was kind of the toss up to me. I'm like, ooh, I don't know
Yeah.
if I like Bodies.
I think I would probably rather reach that. There are things in this that just speak to me. Like is my kind of thing. Like there's some just wild ass choices in this movie where I'm just like, hey, it may not have worked, but I fucking respect the fact that you just went nuts with this.
Oh, I never brought this up, and it's not that spoilery, but there's quite a few Back to the Future references.
Yep.
Like both directly and also just like film wise callbacks and stuff.
Yep.
Where I was like, I love this, and thank you for that.
Yeah.
So that got points. For me.
Having Maribel Verdú be the mom, that was like a truly like jaw dropping moment for me, where I was just like, how the fuck did this happen?
I love it though.
And so yeah, I think it was great. So I understand that it's not great, and I understand that it's kind of dog shit. I understand that the CGI may not be where I want it to be, and I understand that Ezra Miller's probably allegedly very much could be a piece of shit. But
Confirmed.
yeah, that's where I got it. 104. Below Men, above Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Fair.
More importantly, keeps The Descent right at 100, which, as evil as that is to have that movie down there, I like the fact that it's on a good, clean number like that.
Yeah. Aesthetically pleasing for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I got a number. 97.
Shoot it.
It's over.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I guess. Yeah.
Evil Dead Rise, man. Get that out of here. Tenet, get that out of here.
You're crazy, man.
There, I don't know. Maybe I could
Jesus
lower it.
Christ.
Nah. I don't want it to be above Evil Dead Rise, but I also love the.
You like this more than
Notebook.
Blind Spotting? You're big on Blind
I
Spotting.
am, but that's the only one that's an outlier. That's one I
Okay.
can't control. You know, that's on a personal list here. I would definitely have that higher.
Sure.
But this is the Entropy list, so I got to kind of roll with the punches here. You know, you guys put a hella movies over The Descent that I doubt you guys would. Same thing with Trick or Treat, all that. So that's one of those for me. I'm gonna lower it actually a notch because I actually saw The Notebook and I really like The Notebook. So 99, I'm gonna go above Tenet. This is better than Tenet, guys. I don't like Tenet.
Oh, man.
Actually, is it better than Tenet?
Blake, you want to go? You want me to go? Because I'm dropping this motherfucker.
You know what?
Yeah, I think me and
I want to qualify
Go
my
ahead, Adam.
statement really quick. I don't know if it's better than Tenet, but I had a better time in this movie than I did in Tenet. So I'll
Man,
qualify that.
that's fair.
I think objectively Tenet's the better movie, but I enjoyed this more than Tenet. That's where I'm landing.
that the inverted fight scene in Tenet alone is 1,000 times better than any action scene we got in this movie.
I won't disagree.
And we got babies in microwaves.
We got babies in microwaves.
But we got double the Ezra Miller in this movie. How could you not love it?
So yeah, I think I don't know if I'm
Was that
dropping
you
this bitch as
gagging?
low as
It
Tyler,
was.
but I think I'm gonna be close to what Ty's thinking. Honestly, tough. It's tough because ultimately I think High Tension has been shorted,
Sure.
and I would rather watch this over High Tension, or I would rather watch High Tension over this. But I don't know if I can quite put it like in the purgatory of films we have at the bottom.
Sure.
Right. So it's
The last
probably
section after the ad.
Yeah.
It's probably not there. But then I'm seeing like Snyder Cut at 136.
I'd rather watch
Okay.
this.
Yeah,
Do
which is
it.
debatable. But then I'm seeing Wonder Woman at 127, and I think I would rather watch this movie. So I think I'm rolling. And that's got Trick or Treat above it, Godzilla above it. Yeah. I do like it more than Thor: Love and Thunder, though. I'm gonna roll. I'll roll 124.
Good.
124.
I'll roll 124.
Below Don't Worry, Darling, and above Halloween Kills. Okay.
Hey, we only got one needle drop in this movie.
And that was a good one, actually. I liked it. I had a good time when that song came on.
Yeah.
It made me smile. It's like, oh, I'm having a good time.
Actually, I'm gonna take that back. I'm gonna go 128. This isn't better than Wonder Woman. I'm sorry. Same universe and everything, but I would.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. So I gotta try to have some consistency in terms of the superheroes. So I'm 28.
Tyler, did you give your ranking?
I have not.
Where are you at
What are
here?
you thinking, boss?
Snyder Cut is better than this.
Oh,
If you think I'm wrong, you're an idiot.
Yeah, I've got Snyder Cut on in the background right now. Long as hell, but not bad, fellas.
yeah. What are you, like, a quarter of the way through the movie after
Yeah,
recording an
yeah,
hour and a half
basically.
podcast? Yeah.
Basically.
Transformers gave me Beast Wars. And as much as I didn't like that movie, I think I don't like this movie more.
This movie is more functional than Beast Wars. In a lot of ways.
I think you should watch Beast Wars again.
No. Even with A-list, I would not even waste my time. It would cost me $0, but I won't do it.
So I'm gonna go 138 above Mario Bros.
Okay.
That's fair.
That's fair. Yeah,
Okay.
that's fair.
Which gives us.
We got a 138. Let me redo this because I think Blake changing his thing messed me up a little bit. 138. You were 123. Is that what you said?
128. He dropped it below Wonder Woman.
Yeah, 128.
Correct.
128.
128.
Nathaniel, you were what?
104.
104. And I was 90. Or was I?
You said 98.
90, no,
Above.
99. I would put it
99.
below. I would change it to below the notebook. So 99, which gives us an average rating of 117.25, meaning we tie break it with Halloween Ends. Are we above or below Halloween Ends? What a great movie to compare this to.
Below.
Yeah, I'd
Ooh,
be below.
That's tough.
I'm above.
Just in terms of movie to movie, I may actually be above. I don't really like Halloween.
All right, I guess we go to
Wow,
IMDb.
that's a lot of weight
tie
coming
break.
from- Blake.
Yeah,
course.
I don't like Halloween.
Of course, we're split.
All right, IMDb tiebreak brings us to as I
You
mentioned
said this
before,
was a 7 something?
7.3.
For
Halloween
sure it's gonna win.
Ends
Halloween's got to be 5'9",
5-0.
6'1".
5-0.
Oh my
5-0.
gosh.
Good lord.
Yeah, I don't think that movie's
Yeah.
that bad.
No, neither do I.
That's better than Halloween Kills.
Oh, I know. Don't get me wrong. I definitely think Halloween Kills is the worst of those three. by
Yes, it
far,
is.
for sure.
All right, well, there you have it. Slotted in at 117, The Flash. Below A Quiet Place Part 2, which I don't know if it deserves to be that low, but I don't know. It's not like it deserves to be that higher, maybe that much higher, you know?
I agree.
And Halloween Ends. There you have it. Our next review is TBD. Do we want to do The Blackening? That's the one I had on the short list that came out the same week, like this past weekend. That
I'd like to see it.
I'd like to see it. I know, Blake, you said you want to see it, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. Do you guys want to
And-
roll with that?
Yeah, I'm down. Tyler?
Run it.
All right, cool. Well, we'll do The Blackening. That's currently in theaters. It's at AMC, so it's getting a wide release. Not a ton of show. This can't be right. Is there really okay, my computer was messing up. That's not right. Yeah, so wide release. It's at AMC, so you can go catch that. It looks really good. I'm excited.
That's the.
it
it's
should be
the-
funny.
It's the campy horror movie, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So hopefully it's good. We always love horror, and I don't. It seems from the trailer that it'll actually stay relatively along the lines of horror. Like, it won't go full satire, scary movie or anything like that, but it's also going to be comedy. So I'm excited. So yeah, check out The Blackening in theaters and join us for our review next week. what we're watching here, guys. We are, let's see, we are 1:14 runtime on the pod time. Do we want to do like everyone names one thing they watch that they want to talk about?
Sure.
All right, let's do that. What's the because we haven't done what we're watching like 2 weeks. So Nathaniel, what's the one or two things you've watched in the past 3 weeks now that you want to talk about?
I don't know if I brought it up last week. I saw Tar,
What is that?
the Kate Blanchett movie from last year.
Kind of remember. Yeah, I see it. I heard that was good.
She the music composer?
Yeah, where she's the well, she's not a composer, she's a conductor.
Got it. Yeah.
Now that
yeah.
I'm seeing that movie poster, I've definitely looked this up before.
Yeah, I loved it. It's amazing.
Really?
It's really really good. Yeah, she basically like kind of gets canceled, but it's like not one kind of inciting incident. It's kind of just over her career, all these kind of things have built up, and then it's kind
People
of all falling
some
down
friction.
around her. Yeah, it's a really interesting companion piece to Whiplash, obviously, as like kind of in the music industry as well, and in that kind of stuff. But
So is she kind of like a J.K. Simmons type?
similar in some
see.
ways. Yeah, I would say maybe not as like straight up aggressive,
Right.
but in like her domination of
see.
the industry as like this larger than life
Figure.
yeah, 100%. And ends on just a fucking amazing joke. Like it's pretty. It would be up there, I think, in my top 5 of last year overall if I had seen it in 2022.
Interesting. Okay. Is that streaming anywhere? Or is
Yeah,
that,
it's
like,
on.
to
It's
rent?
on Prime.
All right, cool.
So yeah, it's definitely one of those ones where I genuinely heard about it, thought about it, and was like, oh man, that feels like a little bit too artsy even for me
Really?
as like
Okay.
as a film student. But like, no, it's like it's 100% a movie. It is definitely jargon heavy, but if you're there to engage with it, you can kind of pick up anything you need from context in that sense.
Okay.
So, yeah,
Cool.
big recommend. Liked it a lot. That would be my big thing over the last couple of weeks.
Tyler, what have you been watching?
I actually used my my A pass more than once this week, so
yeah?
we're really getting a work out of it.
Good.
Yeah, Sunday, Leah and I had the day off, and she brought up the fact that she wanted to go see Elemental, which is the new Pixar animated movie that came out.
Yeah.
I heard it was
And-
incredibly below average.
We
It
actually
reminded me a lot of Inside Out.
really liked it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm hearing.
yeah. The animation was really killer, which you could obviously
Really?
expect.
I heard
but
the
yeah, it
animation was
cute little.
poor.
Sorry.
But I'm gonna take your word for it. All the reviews and everything I'd heard was animation was poor, and it's probably like story wise a weaker Pixar film. But I'm glad to hear you liked it because that makes me more intrigued to go see it then.
Yeah, we actually really like the animation.
Okay.
It's definitely not like your typical. I mean, there are parts of like kind of soul-esque animation,
Mhm.
but there's also elemental parts to it. So maybe some people just struggle with that. But we actually thought
Maybe.
it was pretty good looking movie.
Cool.
And then the storyline, we actually thought it was pretty cute. Maybe it's because Carolia and I are in a relationship and we went to go see it together, and that kind of ties in with the film. But yeah, just if it's a recommend for me. So, but other than that, it's been like a bunch of anime, YouTube shit. So that was like our main thing. So
Cool.
Blake,
Yeah, I got to one. Nathaniel could probably assume what it was.
Mm-hmm.
It's one I've been referencing on the pod. I've been trying to purchase it on Vudu for some time.
Sure.
Sale, and I was just kind of being a stingy bastard. So, nonetheless, Nathaniel, dear friend of mine, caught it on sale, immediately sent me a text, and the movie we're talking about is Pearl. So, caught it
nice.
on sale. Yeah, so I bought Pearl. This was maybe Friday, something like
Something
that.
like that. Yeah.
So bought that on Vudu, sat down, watched it. And Pearl is a film by Ty West. I've been on here recently to talk about Ty West. We've done X, which is on the entry list, ranked in a fair place as well for a horror movie. Pearl is the prequel to that film,
It is.
starring Mia Goth, who stars as both Maxine and Pearl, the young woman and the old woman in the movie X. Pearl is the younger. I guess you get the backstory of the older woman.
Yep.
In the movie X. But yeah, Mia Goth is awesome. Ty West is growing on me as really only one film I care for, and that was The Keepers. But yeah, Pearl is. I like Pearl more than X, fellas. Pearl is awesome.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, Pearl
that
is
is
awesome. Different type of horror movie though. It's not the slasher that X is. So I mean, maybe if you're not like a horror like me and Nathaniel, or even like Ty to some degree, you're probably not gonna enjoy it that much. But it's just really good. It's essentially, I mean, it's essentially like the Joker, but you're just watching Mia Goth play the character instead. So yeah, she's awesome. She has a phenomenal monologue at a dinner table, which is one I
Yep.
clips. That's just kind of the thing you always see on Reddit and YouTube and Instagram and all the film pages I follow. Just all the praise she's gotten for that, and it's up there with how I feel like Toni Collette's performance in Hereditary is. Just in terms of the amount of
Whoa! That's high praise. That's high praise.
No, dude, she's awesome in this movie, man.
Okay,
she's really good in this movie.
The last shot of the movie sticks with me a lot.
Oh my yes, and I didn't even get to that. So yeah, I'm telling you, Adam, it's second to Toni Collette in Hereditary in terms of the best horror performances I've seen in the past 5 years, 6 years.
Did you get
the monologue she has at the dinner table is phenomenal. She goes fucking 8-minute monologue.
Really? Is it like a one cut kind of thing?
Rattling through emotions.
I love
those. One cut, detailing basically all this. She's basically she's confessing to all the things she's done to somebody close to her, and she's crying and things of that nature. Yeah, great movie though.
Do you have your copy? Did it come with the digital code? Do you have it on Vudu?
You bought it?
Yeah, I have it on Vudu. So I bought it on Vudu.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it is on my Vudu. If you want to watch it, please go watch it.
I might check
I like it more than X.
I have your login.
And I'm yeah, dude. I'm stoked for Maxine, which I believe comes out. I believe it was supposed to come out later this year, but I haven't really seen anything on that.
Yeah.
So that makes me believe, I don't know, slated for that November of 2023.
Well, Pearl didn't have much advertising either, so maybe it's already out.
Yeah.
Because I remember X was somewhat advertised, and then Pearl, I felt like they kind of just released it.
Yeah. Well, they filmed X. Ty West filmed X and Pearl back to back.
Right.
So I think they had the trailer for that and that post credit pretty much like ready to ride. I think they actually had to go back and film Maxine because I believe Maxine is taking place after her character is a star, quote unquote. So I believe it takes place in Los Angeles or in America. So I think they had to totally go elsewhere to film because those first two movies, X and Pearl, are filmed. Is it like fucking New Zealand or Australia or some shit like that? Yeah. Due to the pandemic.
It says it's listed as post-production right now, so no official release date yet. So,
but yeah, Pearl, Ty West, Mia Goth. Mia Goth's fucking awesome. I'm becoming a Mia Goth fan. So that's what I've got.
Gang, gang.
Peace out, gang, gang.
As far as what we're watching go, I don't know. I haven't been watching much. Got a Halo tournament coming up pretty soon. So that's been my main thing. I saw Across the Spider-Verse again. It was great. Again, almost better on the second viewing because I could kind of slow down and look for more details and stuff because they throw a lot at you in that movie, of course.
For sure.
So I was able to kind of pick up on some stuff I hadn't the first time. Fantastic. Love it. Ted Lasso finale, finished that out. And I watched Enter Galactic, which I think I mentioned to you guys pre or post pod. That's it's Kid Cudi's animated movie that he released with his album of the same name. And I wouldn't say it's a glorified music video, but it's just kind of like it's got a story, it's got characters, it is an actual film, but like there's a lot of sequences that are just like, oh, it's a song off the album. And then it's kind of just like all these characters like acting stuff out or whatever. I enjoyed it. The animation, if you want to go along with Into the Spider-Verse, the animation's like really unique. I don't really even know how to describe it. It's not like super high budget. Low frame rate, it seems like they're animated once every like 3 frames or so. So low frame rate, but really cool animation, really pretty. Color wise and everything. Watched it with the Hue Sync, of course. Shout out Tyler. And so it was lighting up here. But yeah, great colors, looked great. Voice acting's great. I want to see her really quick. I meant to look this up the other day and forgot. Who because Kid Cudi voice acts in it, I believe. Yeah, he does. He's the main character, and then it's Jessica Williams. Is the kind of other main character.
She's great.
Yeah, she's great in this too. not like a groundbreaking or earth shattering story or anything. It's a love story, and it's good for the most part. But yeah, I enjoyed my time with it, but it's not by no means like a must watch. And I'm also pretty good big Kid Cudi fan and really enjoyed his album. So it was like kind of nice to put some like visuals to the songs, and like it feels like I don't know if this entire album was written with this kind of story in mind that he wanted to match up with the songs, but they certainly play it out that way where it's like, oh, okay, I can kind of get that idea, because the cover of the album is the characters from the movie, or at least the main character. So it kind of makes me feel like maybe he wrote this as like a pair project, because the album certainly stands on its own, but when you pair it with this, it kind of elevates it a little bit. So I do appreciate it a little bit more. I do like that album. Have you guys listened to his latest one, Intergalactic? Because he kind of like sneaky dropped it. He didn't really do a big thing for it. It's pretty good. I would recommend checking it out if you're a Kid Cudi fan. Speaking of Pearl, of course, or I guess X.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I can't help but like think of him now in that movie. Cause it was kind of
I forgot he was even.
Yeah,
in
well,
because
it's such like a weird movie for him to pop up in, you know. But yeah, that's on Netflix if you want to check it out. It's only like 90 minutes and it's pretty decent. So that's it for what we're watching here. I think that'll do it for everything we have for you, you folks, you dear listeners. Nathaniel, do we have a 5-star review by chance?
We do not have a 5-star review, but if you want to give us a 5-star review, folks, you can give it to us in Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and I will read it out on the podcast for us. Adam, got some plugs?
I do have some plugs. Of course, if you want to help out the podcast, you can share it with a friend, a family member, a body double of yourself who, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to give Ezra Miller credit anymore, so let's stop talking about him.
If you come across Supergirl.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, if you come across, someone from Krypton who's not Kal-El. Is that spoilers?
Who cares?
Yeah.
It's in the trailers.
Should I cut it? Yeah.
It's in the trailers.
All right, it's in the trailers. Yeah. Share with whoever you can, folks. That's the bottom line. Also, follow us on Twitter at Banter Row, on Instagram at Back Row Banter Pod, and our YouTube is just Back Row Banter. Please go subscribe to us there, even if it is not your primary place of listening. Our YouTube numbers are going up a little bit.
Ayo.
Hopefully they'll go up more as soon as we get video up and running, which I'm looking into and exploring currently. Stay tuned. Bit of sizzle. BlakeHolder, where can the people find you at, my man?
Yo, Letterboxd, BlakeHolder. I'll be on there logging some things. I'm rating them out of 5 stars. The Flash did not get 5 stars, but we did a movie recently that I think was damn close. So, yeah, if you want to watch a superhero movie, as I said earlier, just go watch Across the Spider-Verse. Same runtime. Better movie, end of the day. That's all I got. We'll pass it to Tyler.
Letterboxd, Instagram, Twitter, all Tyler Dallas, VID alias. And then I don't know if I'll have a stream coming up soon. If I do, it's going to basically be really nerdy stuff. It's not ripping open Pokemon packs this time. Magic the Gathering is coming out with a special edition Lord of the Rings set, which if you know me, you know that I am on a different level with Lord of the Rings. So I potentially have some packs that will be opened maybe on a short stream one of these days. Have to maybe put some things together still, but it has potential.
Oh, yeah.
Other than that, I think that's everyone, right? Or Adam, maybe you got to go last.
Yeah, that's me. You can find me on Twitter at Aish24 and on Letterboxd at Aish. I think that's going to do it here, folks, for episode 151, a palindrome. I think I want to start celebrating those episodes.
Palindrome episodes?
Palindrome episodes. Let's do something special. I'll think of something.
Fair enough.
But yeah, 151, that'll do it. Thank you all for listening, especially if you made it this far into the episode. You're my favorite type of listener, and we really do appreciate it. Join us next week for our review of The Blackening. We'll BRB.
Be excellent to each other, everyone. We will BRB.
Thanks for stopping by. We appreciate everything you do to help us grow, and just spread love, and we'll BRB.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for the support as always. We wouldn't be able to continue this podcast if it wasn't for you. We'll BRB.
for another lesson.
Itty-bitty-bitty-doo. Ellie dog. She is a dog. Yeah, I see you, boo-boo.
Dog.
She is a dog.
That's how dogs work.
Ellie, Ellie, Ellie. She is a dog. No, don't poop on me. Poop on your dad.
She about to poop?
Nah, I don't think so. She doesn't seem very poopish.
Has anyone been pooped on by an animal?
Nope.
Yes. I feel like a bird pooped on me once, maybe.
And I was gonna say, if I was a betting man, I'm betting the bird right now.
Ellie peed on me.
Dogs, it's kind of easy.
Oh,
to
you know what?
avoid.
I have been pooped on by a bird.
Ellie peed
Yeah.
on me.
I was
The bird
Ellie
one is
peed
just
on
one
you?
of those that's
Ellie
by
peed
sheer
on me,
chance.
early when she was a baby.
yeah. No, this is I was sitting in the passenger seat of my car. Well, it wasn't my car. I was with my mom. This was, I don't know, I was probably like 16. I was with my mom and she ran into a store to like return something or something like that. We were out running errands or she was into getting something. So I was just sitting in the car with the windows down and a randomly bird just shits in it. And the window wasn't fully down either. That's the wild part. It was cracked open. The accuracy of this poop from the bird was impeccable because
That
it just
sounds like it.
basically went right through the very small crack of the window and hit me. And it like part of it splattered on the window, but part of it went through and like landed on my arm. I was like, "What the hell?" Oh,
Yeah.
that's bird poop.
Lava?
Now,
Yeah.
do we think? And I believe I know the answer to this. Do we think animals have the wherewithal to try to intentionally shit on people?
I know
right?
dogs would
It's gotta be no.
because I've
You think
seen
so?
my girlfriend's dog intentionally peed on our friend. And it was like very intentional where like he was yelling at her and to like, cause she was like barking or getting at something. So he like yelled at her and then she
Yeah.
just proceeds to get on the couch, get on his lap and peed right on him. And it was just, you could tell it was very intentional. She was a smart dog.
Oh, wow.
I think it depends on if you're under the impression that some animals are controlled by the government.
That does depend. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that would influence my opinions.
It would explain the bird poop through the
Uh-huh.
crack a lot more, you know, whoever that
Yep.
FBI agent is.
Birds are not real.
Uh,
Birds are all government spies.
Yep. It would make sense.
Birds, birds, birds.